What is going on, everybody? It's your boy John, and welcome back to Gearbox. So today we have a kind of beautiful, kind of not beautiful day here in South Carolina. It just rained and stormed pretty hard, but now it's sunny, I guess, and we have some aftermath of Hurricane Helene right here. So, fun times. Anyway, of course, we are in the 2024 Ford Raptor, so let's go ahead and talk about it. To get started, basically the gist of this video is the fact that I've now owned this thing for a couple months now. And yes, you can go online and read about all the cool features and this and this and this and why you too should buy a Ford Raptor, specifically the F-150 version. But I wanted to give my 2 cents worth on maybe some things that, yeah, they're highlighted, but they need to be highlighted more, or some things that maybe aren't necessarily given the recognition that they deserve, but we're gonna give them the recognition right here, right now. So without further ado, let's get right into it. To get started on this list, we're starting off hot and heavy with numero uno, and that entry is going to be this button right here, the Raptor button. I absolutely love that button. And for those who are unaware, that Raptor button allows you to customize all of the customizable things in this truck, and in 2 clicks of the button, your truck is ready for however you want it to be set up. For example, if you look in the bottom left of the gauge cluster there, we have the R, so that happens when I press this button. And of course, since I'm in this mode right now, it doesn't do anything, but it will automatically customize the exhaust, the suspension, and the steering of your truck based on the available settings that you have for those 3 things. This button makes all the difference, in my opinion, especially when you're in a case where you're just daily driving. Of course, if you're towing, you don't want to have Baja suspension, or if you're on a long road trip, you probably don't want the Baja exhaust because it's a little bit loud. But in a daily driving perspective, I personally like Baja suspension, Baja exhaust, and the sport steering. To me, that just feels right. Now, what's right for me might not be right for you, and it surely isn't right for my wife. So she can go in and customize her little Raptor button herself, or she can just drive it in stock form, and that's fine. But for the point of the video, I wanted to bring that up because it is so cool how customizable you can make this truck based on some of those other functions of the exhaust, of the suspension, etc. And to be able to just click of a button change everything rather than going through the menu 1,000 different times is a plus for me. Maybe a little bit understated, but I really enjoy it. For number 2 on this list, we're gonna talk about the amazing Sync 4 system that Ford has come out with. Yes, it's an infotainment system. Yes, infotainment systems are probably given way too much credit for what they actually are relative to vehicles nowadays, but just look at this, right? We've got the screen over there for the radio and the navigation and all that. We have this awesome gauge cluster that more or less is customizable to whatever you could possibly want there. And then you probably can't see it, but the heads-up display there. Yes, I am including all of that as far as the infotainment is concerned, but I love it. Most importantly, I love the fact that you can pretty much change or do whatever it is that you want right from your fingertips on the steering wheel. Now, is that some groundbreaking technology? No, not necessarily, but what you might realize is this steering wheel has a little more buttons than your average steering wheel does, in my opinion. And yes, at first it's a little bit overwhelming, but it is something that will bring you great value if you are daily driving this truck and using it to its full potential. And then of course, for the stuff that you don't have at your fingertips, you go in here and you literally have anything you could possibly want right there I love it, and it's definitely a selling point of this truck, or really any other Sync 4 Ford vehicle, in my opinion. For number 3 on this list, I'm gonna talk about something that's probably gonna give me at least a little bit of shit, if not a lot of shit, but that's gonna be the auto tailgate. And I know that is an old man feature, and I know that I am more than capable of dropping a manual tailgate up or down by myself, no problem, but the auto tailgate is so helpful. And to be honest with you, it's probably a little bit of recency bias for me. My wife and I have been doing a bunch of yard work and this and that, going to Home Depot, doing this, going here, whatever. And having that auto tailgate to, one, remote start the car, and 2, drop the tailgate as you're walking out of Home Depot or Publix or whatever, is so nice. And I understand, once again, not a brand new concept by any stretch. It's not some crazy feat in technology, but it is so helpful. And of course, just the bed in general, you could probably talk about with the different attachment points for ratchet straps and the storage and the generator and the this and the that. But the entry point to all of that goodness is that auto tailgate. And to be quite honest with you, when I first saw that feature on this truck, I was kind of like, whatever, you know, who cares? I'm a little bit ashamed to say how much I use that on a daily basis in this truck. Don't knock it till you try it. Am I an old man? Maybe, but here we are for number 3 on the list. On to the 4 spot on this list, we are talking about something that probably is overlooked in a lot of vehicles nowadays, but I think it definitely deserves a spot on this list, and that is the lighting in the Ford Raptor, inside, outside, whatever. The lighting in this truck is awesome. Now, number 1, let's just get it out of the way. This truck looks awesome with the lights on. You know, the ambers on the grill, the ambers on the side markers, the reds on the tailgate and whatever. It all looks great. But more importantly, the lighting and the headlights, the low beams, the auto high beams, the integrated rigid fog lights on this switch right there. I love every bit of it. And to be honest, some people, especially if you live like in a city, which I guess technically I do, but not really. It's like city by South Carolina standards, not like Pittsburgh or, I don't know, New York or something. You sure as hell wouldn't want to drive this around New York. But anyway, the roads around here, they're not lit. Like, look, do you see any lights here? No. And this is a pretty like widely driven road. There are power lines, but there are no lights. That's how South Carolina is all the time, especially when I get closer to my house, and it's a much more rural road than this. There ain't any lights. So lighting is important. A lot of times, I definitely utilize the hell out of my auto high beams. It senses when a car's there, when it's not there, whatever. But I also use the hell out of this switch right there, which from factory has the rigid fog lights integrated into the bumper. I get fully lit up at night and I can see everything. This truck also has like the turning headlight thing, which is a little bit trippy at first, but it really just, it helps. Obviously it's there to help. They're not just gonna put something on there that costs more money just for shits and giggles. Like, that's not how car manufacturers do business. All that being said, the lighting on this truck is awesome, even down to the bed lighting or the reverse lights. Like, it's just a very well lit truck. It allows the functionality to not just be used during the daytime, but also in the pitch black South Carolina back roads at night. And for that, I appreciate Ford. For the 5th and final entry on this list, we're gonna talk about something that is absolutely wildly underrated. And I think it's a whole Sync 4 thing. It's not the Raptor, but having specific keys attached to specific driving profiles. So what do I mean by that? The key that I use day in and day out, or at least my keychain, I've got my super keys on it, I've got the Raptor keys on it. That key is tied directly to me. So when I get into my truck, it's not just seating position or anything like that. It's, do all 4 of your doors unlock when you put in your keyless entry, or does just the driver door lock, or this or that? And there are a bunch of different settings that you can change based on your personal preferences. And that is awesome to me. Really, the biggest reason there is the settings that I like and the settings that my wife likes are 2 completely different things, more or less on the opposite sides of the spectrum. So not having to go into said infotainment system and screw around with a bunch of settings that are marginally important as far as I'm concerned. It's nice to just have a set it and forget it type of deal, especially when I'm switching off with my wife driving this truck for one reason or another. She enjoys it, I enjoy it, and that's definitely something to be appreciative of. So anyway, guys, that's gonna do it for another episode of Gearbox. If you do like this video, please give it a big fat thumbs up. If you have any other features or kind of, you know, customization aspects of the 24 Ford Raptor, or really any other Ford vehicle in general that I'm sure this truck probably encompasses, drop them in the comment section down below. I'd love to hear some maybe lesser known facts about this truck, or maybe some things that I overlooked that you would put on this list. Drop them in the comments. Let's be vocal. And as always, guys, hit subscribe, hit the notification bell. You know the drill. Until next time, peace.